Welcome to Off Script. Wait. Hi, welcome to Off Script. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Today on the show, we're talking about Jordan Peele's Nope. We went and saw it. Andy saw it twice. Very excited to talk about Nope. Nope's really cool. We're also going to talk about The Gray Man on Netflix. I feel like everybody and their parents watched this movie over the weekend. It's like the hottest new thing to hit Netflix. It's all over the front page. $200 million. Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, a spy thriller. What could go wrong? The directors of The Avengers. Sorry, I'm talking too much about The Gray Man. We're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con and a mess of announcements that came out of there in the middle of the show. We were going to make it news, and Andy was like, no, that probably needs to be its own segment. I agree. And before we get to all of that, we got to talk about the news. And our first story this week, Netflix thinks they're going to get 1 million subscribers next quarter, which is, probably not as funny as I think it is, but frankly, feels a little short-sighted to me, a little silly. Andy, what do you think?
Well, we were wrong. I was wrong about this prediction last week because we were like recording while the earnings call was about to happen.
Yeah,
they were predicted to lose 2 million subscribers. They only lost 1 million, which is somehow
That's
good
right.
news.
It's
better news than expected. They're timidly hopeful. They will. At the beginning of 2023, they'll introduce the ad-supported tier. But I was reading an interesting article that the earnings might be inflated right now because of things like Stranger Things, and it's a lot of their summer content is out. Same thing with theaters as well. A lot of their best content is out right now, and there's not a lot in like the next 2 or 3 months until we get to like Oscar season. So things are looking better for Netflix, but it's still losing 1 million subscribers is still a big deal.
Yeah, I've got some confidence that Netflix will gain subscribers. Let me be clear. Like, I do think that's going to happen. But the reason I'm such a big naysayer and the reason I laugh when I read this headline is because Netflix just reported a bunch of losses. And that was when they were having a pretty up season, I think. New Stranger Things was out, and it's probably the best season of Stranger Things that's been out since the first one, I think. It's pretty good. If you haven't watched it, check it out. And that's like their hot show. That's like one of their hottest properties. And
It's their only hot show.
Yes, and they tumbled in subscribers. I know they've got plans to add ad-supported tiers. I know they've got plans to, explore other options of monetization like they're doing with select countries and multi-housing pricing, additional pricing per house. Check out our last week, episode 183 episode to find out more about that when we talked about it. But I'm not confident they're going to gain 1 million. I'm just not. Like, I'm looking at the growth of platforms like Disney that are just continuing to climb at like a meteoric rise. Like Disney Plus is killing it. And a lot of shows are about to roll out like premium content to get ready for the Emmys, right? It's Oscar season. We're getting some exciting content from Apple TV Plus coming up. San Diego Comic-Con just announced a bunch of new things happening. HBO's got cool stuff. I don't have the confidence that 1 million people are coming to Netflix next quarter. I don't. I do think they'll climb. I do. Like, I think they are responding. I don't see a mill. It's going to be short. It's got to be short. There's no way.
Right. And again, and I didn't realize this when in the last quarter, they lost 200,000 subscribers. And that doesn't really seem like that many, but it was such a big deal because they had been projected to earn another like 2 to 3 million. And it said they lost. And that is what was shocking. So it's not as bad, but again, they've kind of blown all their summer content, and now we're nearing the end of the summer film season, and like, what do we have to look forward to in August, September, October from Netflix? Not much so far.
Absolutely. In my house, Netflix is on the chopping block. It's the next service to go. Like, if I'm getting rid of one, if I'm gonna make a car payment or something, Netflix is the one that's up. Like, I think that's gonna be it. Like, I find some value out of Hulu. Hulu's been doing cool stuff. They've got that new series with Andrew Garfield. Jeff Bridges has a new series on there. That's some high drama. Like, I don't know. Like, Disney, for what it's worth, even if you're burnt out on Marvel shows, like I'm very quickly becoming, they've got Star Wars content. They've got a lot of legacy properties. One story we're going to talk about here was them adding Deadpool and Logan. Like, they're adding R-rated content to Disney Plus now. I don't know. I just see value in other places. I don't see it in Netflix. Yeah. And that's, I don't know. Any other thoughts on Netflix, Andy?
No.
All right. Well, with that, we should move on to our next story. We have a new trailer for Pearl, the sequel to X, or prequel, as it
Prequel.
were, the A24 horror feature that came out earlier this year, starring Ty West. We watched it on the show, written and directed by Ty West. We watched it on the show. We talked about it. We both liked it, and now we've got to look at what's next.
Yes, Pearl, who is kind of the main villain or one of the main characters in X, at the end of that movie there was a secret kind of prequel trailer for the kind of Pearl origin story. Pearl is very old in the movie X, and so this was back in like the 30s when she's a young woman, and it's crazy. There's fire on the screen, there's murder happening. You see kind of the origins of where she gets started, and so this trailer expands on that, and we find her again in that same old farmhouse from X, and she's kind of captive by this family. She has to look after her ailing father, and she has an abusive mother, and she lives in this kind of desolate separated place. And then, similar to Mia Goth's character in X, she has dreams of making it big, becoming a movie star, and she might have a way out of this life, but obstacles get in her way, and she resorts to the only thing Pearl knows, which is violence and killing people.
Like old-fashioned murder. That's right.
And it's interesting because, it takes place in the same location as the first movie. So we see a lot of the same scenes. We see the alligator-filled pond. We see the old house. We see the barn, the iconic pitchfork. So it's a pretty cool little thing that I'm definitely excited to see. That comes out in September.
It does seem strange that this is coming out so quickly, and I think part of the reason Andy and I are excited about this is because, one, X is good stuff. If you didn't see X and you're a horror fan, like, you should check out X. It's quality. It came out in March. But two, like, after how we came about finding out about Pearl was very organic in the theater. It's been a bit of clever marketing from the studio. What was it? I think you had read somewhere that they had a prequel or something. The end credit scene for X featured this, and so we stuck around after the movie and watched it like you would for anything else. And yeah, it was like, I think it was a quicker cut version of this trailer. I think it was faster than this, but I remember a lot of the images from it. And we like the movie. Yeah, the lights go up. We all looked at each other like, what was that? Like, a prequel for what? Like, X is a great standalone feature. Like, this doesn't need a prequel. And then we go to Waffle House after, and we're talking about it. And I looked up on IMDb. Yeah, Ty West had cooked up this whole idea for this prequel, like, while he was in quarantine for a couple of weeks when they couldn't shoot. And then when they got back to set, he pitched it to Mia Goth, like, hey, what do you think? He wrote the script, and she said, actually, I love this. So while they still had the sets up before they demoed everything, they shot this movie in like a few weeks. And it's weird, right? Like, it's rare when you're making a movie, you decide to quickly make another movie on the same set, even if you set it in a different time. Like, it's just, that's unique. That's awfully like guerrilla filmmaker like idea. And I don't know. It's interesting, and it's weird. We don't know exactly when this movie's coming out.
I think September. I've seen.
I think
dates.
September. Yeah, I like the trailer doesn't specifically have it in there. It just says this year. Like, there's a big banner. It's this charming looking. You should go watch the trailer online. It's a charming looking, like, retro throwback early 1900s thing. Like, very Pleasantville. The trailer says this year. The description under the trailer says March of next year. But then I've read in a bunch of places it's coming out in September. If it's September, that's 6 months away from X, which, I mean, leans hard into you made both these movies at the same time. I don't know. We'll find out more about Pearl, I guess, but an interesting production. And that's coming from A24 and Ty West. Lastly, the box office. Jordan Peele's Nope was crushing it this weekend. Very pleased with its performance. And, it's not any blowout numbers. We're not talking 300 million opening night. It's not Spider-Man Homecoming. But for an EB horror feature from a third-time director, very, very quality numbers. Andy, you want to give away the ghost here?
Right. Yes. This is Jordan Peele's third film, still number one at the box office. So every film of his has opened at number one, which is a great thing. This did open well below Us, second film. That film opened at 71 million, and Nope came in at 44 million. So not quite as successful, but it's that came out in the spring. This is coming out in summer. There's a lot of competition. Nope is also a much bigger film. It was about $80 million film. It's a proper summer blockbuster, but it was number one this week. And some other details: Thor 4 came in second at 22.1 million. Minions Rise of Gru, number 3 at 17.7 million. Swamp Girl, or Where the Crawdads Sing, came in at 10.3 million for number 4. Then to round out the top 5, Top Gun Maverick came in just below that at 10.2 million. Top Gun Maverick still in theaters somehow.
Dude,
That's amazing.
I
The
know.
legs
No,
on that movie.
nothing will topple Top Gun Maverick. Paramount's going to keep it in theaters for 8 years. They're going to set little booths for like the Navy and the Air Force outside of it, like hand out pamphlets to people coming in to see it next summer. It'll be great. I'm very pleased with how Nope is done. Yeah, like it's, you know, hey, look, it's not like it's not Avatar numbers, but it's not Avatar budget. Like it's not supposed to be. Like it's a pretty simple production, all things considered. Nope. I don't know exactly how much it costs to shoot it. But I 44 million's quality. That's Jordan Peele opening at number 1 again. 3 films in a row. His first 3. Boom, boom, boom. Number one. Like it's coming out to great scores on Rotten. People really like it. It's even getting some controversy because a lot of people don't understand it. I'm excited to talk about that or talk around it because we don't do spoilers, but yeah, like it's great. A lot of people went and saw Nope. Very diverse audience. Universal reported it was 35% white, 33% black, 20% Latino, 8% Asian. Everybody loves Nope. Nope's great. I'm excited to talk about Nope. And 44 million. Look, it's not going to blow anybody's socks off, but like for a horror feature, shoot, Blumhouse wishes they're making 44 million every time they put out a horror feature. The Black Phone wishes it made 44 million dollars. You know, like 44 million is great. That's great. I love it. Can't wait to see what's next. And with that, we should probably move into our first review of the episode. Speaking of Nope, Andy, you want to take it away?
Nope. So this is the third entry from director Jordan Peele, who of course made Get Out and Us previously. This is a kind of sci-fi horror thriller starring Daniel Kaluuya, who was in his first film, and Keke Palmer. They play Hollywood horse ranchers. They have a horse ranch in the LA area, and if you need a horse to be in a movie, they're the guys to call. And they come from a very long and storied line. This has been a family business for generations. At the very beginning of the film, OJ Sr., Daniel Kaluuya's character is called OJ.
Yes,
so I'm
young
trying to think
horse ranch owner OJ. Yeah, Dan
right.
Kalia.
His father, played by Keith David. The very beginning, his father is mysteriously killed by something falling from the sky, which appears to be like hail. We don't really know. There's just kind of and it's a bright day, very mysterious. Something hits him in the eye. This is all in the trailer, by the way. And he's mysteriously killed. They don't really know why. And OJ Jr. or OJ Haywood is left to kind of look after the ranch, which is in some financial trouble. They need to either score a big movie, or he's got to kind of sell some horses, or they're in danger of having to sell the ranch, which he does not want to do because this is a legacy of his family. Keke Palmer plays his sister, Emerald Haywood, who kind of has her own thing going on. She sings, she dances, she acts. She kind of does it all. A bit of a kind of a space cadet. She's a little bit everywhere.
It's good day. Yeah,
but she's a fun character. But they're kind of in a dire situation, and one night they kind of catch a glimpse of something mysterious in the clouds, which we see very early on, are told is basically a UFO. There's something floating in the clouds, something that is apparently is hungry and wants to eat, or is taking, their horses are disappearing. Meanwhile, we also have a character, Ricky Jupe, played by Stephen Yeun, who's the rancher next door, and who's a former child star, and who has his eyes set on the ranch and has this whole kind of mini theme park going on. And kind of, the last important plot point that we have to talk about is that their plan, unlike most kind of alien invasion movies, is to capture this on film. They said, we need to capture this UFO, sell it to Oprah, sell it to the tabloids, so we can be rich, and so we can save the ranch. So it's a very kind of grounded plot. We got to save the ranch by getting some footage of this crazy alien spaceship. So, a lot going on. That's our setup. Zach, what'd you think?
I think Nope is excellent. I really like Nope. Nope's really good. Very excited to talk about it. Andy, I gotta be honest. I think I like Nope so much. It's gonna be one of those reviews where like I just keep wandering in conversation. Don't be afraid to round me off. Bring me in.
Mhm.
We gotta do broad strokes, no spoilers, which will be a challenge because there's so many cool things to talk about in this movie, but I don't want to give any of it away. Jordan Peele has put out a really fun film. I really like Nope. I've seen it once. We went and saw it opening night. You very quickly went and saw it again.
Yes, I
Which,
caught
baffling. Like it's rare this happens. Like
I
man,
caught a second screening in IMAX.
yes, within the next day.
Yeah, part of
Like
this
with
this
yeah.
film has been shot in with IMAX camera, so there's some big full screen IMAX scenes, and I
Yes.
definitely wanted to check that out.
Yes, one of the early reviews I saw said Jordan Peele like tackles spectacle perfectly in Nope. Like these large sweeping scenes, like big wide camera lenses out in this tremendously large valley where you've got a ranch house and horses and horse pens and an arena, and then you got a whole other cowboy town set up across the way. Stephen Yoon's character's got like the setting of Nope is really charming. This like sun baked, Sunbaked Valley, where something is amiss, like something's off, right? Like something's not quite right. Often things that lead events that lead to violence, like Keith David's character getting iced in the opening minutes, like, and these characters have to just kind of try to suss out like what's going on out here. And as soon as they get an inkling for it, they decide we have to capture it like in a digital format though we have to catch a something about it. Like we have to get proof. We have to figure out what this thing is, and then tell all the world. Uh, fascinating, fascinating setup for a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely. The plot is one of the things I really enjoy about this is that it's a very grounded thing. It's like our problem is financial, which I think a lot of people can relate to, and other movies would go in very different directions here. In this, it's very grounded. Like we got to go viral. We got to post this. We got to get on national television.
Yeah, Nope features some subversive logic in its plot, right? Like rather than flee uh this kind of oddness that's happening, this strangeness that's happening out in this valley where this horse ranch is, our characters decide to stay and try to, like I don't want to say interact. That's incorrect. That sounds like an exchange, like something out of Arrival. No, like they're just trying to basically, capture a
Yeah.
glimpse, something, right? Find out more, right? Like they dig deeper into their situation, and Peel does this in Us as well. Like this family with children, like rather than run to the police or like flee their neighborhood, like they stay and go check on their neighbors. And Get Out doesn't really do that. I mean, I guess you could say Get Out does it too. A character stays in a situation they already know is dangerous. Peel makes that leap in logic, like Martin Scorsese leaves, clumsy editing in his movies. Like he's going for tone, and he's setting up situations that are like truly chilling. In the case of this film, like really, really quality scares here, and I think that's worth it. Like I think it's great. I don't mind it at all. I didn't get it in Us, but like Nope manages to jump into the uncanny valley like just far enough that I'm like along for the ride the whole way down, and it's a ton of fun.
Right. This movie is more sci-fi than horror. It has a lot of horror stuff in it, but it's not like Get Out and Us that were a little bit more kind of straightforward. Those movies were, I think, scarier than this. This Nope definitely does have some terrifying scenes and moments, but it's more, like I said, it's sci-fi. It's a blend of sci-fi and horror. Uh, but I absolutely love this movie. And at first, I was like, I sat with it, and then it just grew on me. And after a second viewing, I really loved it. So one of the things the first time I saw it, I thought it starts a little slower. It feels a little slow, but I realized it was more me being impatient because I want to. I heard there's aliens. I want to get to the aliens, and so I was a little impatient the first time I saw it. The second time, much more problem. That it has a lot of setup in the first act, and it's very worth for things to come later. So just be patient with it. You will see you will come to know what the strangeness in the clouds is. Uh, So just kind of chill out, relax.
Yeah,
There's so much I want to talk so much about this, but I
I
don't
know.
want to
Like, yeah, I don't want to. Yeah.
give things away.
Well, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the things Jordan Peele has done well a couple times now is in the marketing for these films. I remember watching like the final trailer for Nope feels like you're going to see some stuff that you probably shouldn't see in the movie. You're just like, oh wow, that's like a giveaway. I could see like what the thing is, what the mystery. Um, and it's a little that, but there's a lot more under the surface. Not to mention like on the side, there's an entire subplot in this movie that is like fascinating that I've seen a ton of people on the internet get on and be like, hey, what is this about? Why is this in here? It's really cool, like subwriting with tone. And uh, the trailer for Nope does not give away as much as I think you would think. This happened with Us as well. Like Us reveals in the trailer that there are like doubles of these characters and they're violent and they're crazy, right? And that's scary to this family. But like that's like the first act of Us. Like there's so much more going on that is not in that trailer. And this fortunately features that very same kind of energy. Like if the trailers is a really great tease for what's to come in this film without giving away too much.
Right. Part of what I think is really interesting about this, because I realize I can't really talk about a lot of the plot without giving
No, you can't.
too
No, you
much
can't.
away.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some interesting themes. So the movie opens with a, a seemingly unrelated scene of a 90. We're told about a 90s television show that the character Ricky Jupe, played by Stephen Yoon, was featured in. He's a former child star. This is the show he was on, called Gordy's Home. And there's kind of a tragic incident that occurs that seems a little unrelated, but you kind of learn more about that later. But it's a fascinating kind of idea of man's relationship to nature and man's exploitation of nature for profit, and the kind of disastrous consequences that can have. This reminded me a little bit of Jurassic Park in that way, about again, man trying to control things he has no business attempting to control. But there's fascinating themes like that in this movie: exploitation, race, and culture, which are always big themes in Peele's work. Greed, hubris, those good things. Yeah, just a lot of fantastic thematic work as well. And the movie's a lot of fun. There's good scares, there's exciting moments, and like I said, in the course of this, I realized I really can't talk about a lot of what goes on. You kind of have to find out for yourself.
Yeah. Additionally, like as soon as the movie was over, Andy and I both leaned out of our seats and looked at each other like, right, like, thumbs up. This is great. And Andy said, he said, okay, quickly, thieves. He said, man versus technology, and you're right. And it doesn't really feel that way a lot because the horse ranch is very old school. Like it's very Western inspired, Ennio Morricone soundtrack, like very classic. But this idea is present throughout this movie of like the exploitation of in film animals by Hollywood and by movie making and by this idea of people being captured and immortalized forever in film and television and Hollywood, what have you. That's present in this movie in regards to our horses and our horse ranch, and that's a really neat undercurrent theme because it gives the whole film like this grounding and tone. Like it makes everything feel like it's building towards a larger lesson, a larger moral, and the movie doesn't spoon feed it to you. I think it's a big part of the reason a lot of people have been confused about the Gordy's Home subplot. A lot of people have said it doesn't make sense. People have slammed the movie for it. It's nonsense, they've said, and I think that's really silly. I think it's really silly. Like it's very intentional. Like Peele knows what he is doing. This is an artist painting a picture. He is not smattering paint on a wall. Like this is These are intentional brushstrokes. Like what's happening here is very focused, and I think it works really well because of our cast. Daniel Kalia plays this very quiet, like introspective horse rancher who loves his dad, who now has responsibility thrust upon him to save his family's legacy in this horse ranch. His sister has moved away, but obviously she still very much cares for her brother because that's where they grew up. She is on her phone, like she's hustling. She's got plans, played brilliantly by Keke Palmer. God, she's great in this movie. Stephen Yeun is like this surprisingly innocent guy. Like he's basically their like hapless neighbor down the valley who's got this like fun country western thing set up for the kids to come out, like, you know, and have, I don't know, country western days, a little amusement park with a couple little kiddie rides, like, you know, and also you've got Brandon Pereira who plays this like really odd guy. I'll be honest, I didn't love what he was doing in this movie. I couldn't get a read on his character, but by the end of the film, all of these characters have like emotional value and context, and you care about what happens to every one of them, even the one I didn't like that much. And that happens because these characters are like really grounded in performance and really humble and uniquely human. I love that OJ constantly feels like he has to back off from situations that are frightening. Part of the reason the film is called Nope is because Jordan Peele said it's exactly what black people should say in movies when they see something horrifying. Just go, nope, and just get out of there, right? Like just bail. And it happens a couple times in this movie. It's part of OJ's character that he is like, you know, not a coward per se, but meek, and he's quiet, and like he doesn't want danger, and he doesn't want like he just wants to get out of there, man. And that ultimately leads to like a turn in the third act for his character. Like it's such a small idea that's grounded like in the very title of the film, and it's funny. It works as a laugh and a character flaw. Like it's really great. And that's just like one really particular example that I don't think gives too much away.
Yeah, the other thing I want to mention is this movie is very kind of secretly a Western. We obviously have some Western themes, like there are these horses, they're on a horse ranch. Ricky Jupe next door has his park is called Jupiter's Claim, and it's a whole, you know, country Western theme thing where they have like horse shows. But the movie is more than that. It embraces a number of Western ideas, kind of tropes and things that you've seen from Westerns that you don't really see in a movie that aren't that, but it very cleverly weaves them back in. And we have a very Western inspired soundtrack. Like it sounds like the old spaghetti Westerns of, you know, Sergio Leone, scored by Ennio Morricone. Like it has that kind of sound for very good reasons, which you'll see if and when you see the movie. But that was a nice surprise. It's you know, there, and it has those things. You got the good guy, the bad guy, the town, the showdown, these kinds of elements.
Yeah. Regarding like cinematic inspiration, I think it's worth mentioning. A lot of people have compared this to Spielberg, which I think is pretty accurate, man. Like I really do. Like it's not like J.J. Abrams making Super 8 Spielberg, but
That's
the
copying
way,
Spielberg.
yeah, right, yeah, that was produced by, that was like JJ Spielberg pulling JJ under his wing, like pulling him right out of film school. Come on, kid, I'll show you how to make a movie. Like that's what that was like, which is, you know, great, that's fine. But this is a different sort of beast. Like our mystery in the clouds, our thing our characters keep looking up at trying to see, it plays like Jaws. Like it's, you don't get a whole lot of like good looks at this thing, at least to start, and you're just catching it like a fin in the water, right, in the ocean. Like you just a glimpse of something, you'll see something off frame, and it feels like the first couple acts of this film with like a unique paranoia. Really, the whole movie. Who am I kidding? Like it rides the whole way through, and uh that's able to happen because of like basic horror techniques, like something you see in Jaws, Spielberg, or like Tremors, or even the Blair Witch Project. Peele talked about in interviews that like he thinks sometimes it's scarier when you don't see the monster, right? Like sometimes just the idea of what could happen or might be there is enough to suspend your disbelief and bring you in and really spook you. And that works like masterfully here. And additionally, I think there's a lot of inspiration from like something like M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. There's no scene in this movie where a character like goes to the library and they're like looking through old newspapers and looking up like aliens aliens, like UFOs, and like reading about them. The movie knows you know what an alien is. The movie knows you know what a UFO is. And just like signs, like you'd see a hand of an alien in a cornfield or something. Like they don't have to have anybody explain that to you. Nobody's gonna spoon feed, well, that's an alien, and that could have been a no. They know everybody sitting there watching this movie knows what an alien is, and they know exactly how frightening the idea of this kind of unknown thing, this presence, like being there. They know everybody knows how scary that is. And Nope knows it too. Like Nope knows it perfect, and it exploits like these elements of sci-fi horror and blends them with like a uniquely Western setting to create something that feels really original, even though it retreads on a lot of really basic cinematic concepts. It's fantastic. It takes building blocks from what came before and puts it into an entirely different shape. I love it. I love Nope. Sorry, Andy. I know I'm just
yeah. No, those comparisons to Spielberg are apt, and it's not to say that Jordan Peele is the next Spielberg. He could be, maybe in 10 years, maybe in a few more movies, maybe he will. But it's definitely warranted. And this movie does have, like, if you think of the great Spielberg films and set pieces, thrillers, like I said, it reminded me of Jurassic Park, the thrill that is in there, Jaws.
Close Encounters. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Indiana Jones, like they knew when they were making those films in the 80s, they really knew how to create tension and action and drama. And Jordan Peele has been a student of these things and has created his own. And it's also unique because, again, Super 8 is just a Spielberg ripoff. Jordan Peele has done something new and interesting and different, which you can still see is inspired by great film makers, but is something new.
It's funny. I don't remember a lot about Super 8. I remember like a train crash at night and the kids on bikes and lens flare. That's it. and then that lens flare walked into the Star Trek universe, and J.J. Abrams made a couple of those movies, and it was like, good God, like the lens flare, brutal. And now you got lens flare in West Side Story, right? Spielberg like leans on the lens flare, baby. He loves it. Like he loves the lens flare, which is, I think Spielberg does it better than Abrams. Abrams has backed off a bit since, but anyway, I think Nope is funny. Like I know I need to wrap up where I'm going with this. We got a show to do here, but Nope is funny. Like there's a lot of good laughs in this movie. Some of them are dark. There's some dark laughs, and some of them are real subtle, and others are like real broad. Like like Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer are like really charming as his brother and sister who are like totally disaffected by their current situation, or I should say affected by their current situation. And they've got this kind of strained relationship that grows tighter over the course of the film. It's really charming to see the two of them feel like they're reconnecting and getting to know one another again, and like ultimately growing stronger for it. Stephen Yeun is like, the more you find out about this kind of odd former child actor who's like building this amusement park out, and the more you're like, what who is this guy? Like really great, like really simple, small cast, good fundamentals, and makes for something really charming.
Yeah, really. I wanted to comment on that same thing. Really stellar performances. Daniel Kaluuya, it's just amazing to me how little he does, but how impressive it is. Like what I mean is he almost underacts. Like it's so much about how he looks, how he carries himself, like his facial expressions. Like it's little things like the raise of an eyebrow, the like cocking his neck, like these different very subtle things, but that have a big impact, and you instantly know what he's doing or thinking or feeling just by how he moves and acts, and it's really impressive. And Keke Palmer is the opposite of him. She's kind of loud and bombastic. She's really great in her own, just in her own style. Stephen Yeun is, like I said, this kooky character. Really great to see him in kind of something different from normal.
I wanted to mention Daniel Kaluuya's performance because I forgot this when I talked through it earlier. Regarding his underacting, like it's subtle. Like Kaluuya has a lot of charisma, and we've seen him turn it on in features like Get Out or Widows. Like Kaluuya can really elevate what he's doing here. But OJ is not an elevated character. Like he's He's practically a hick, man. Like, he grew up on a horse ranch out away from everybody. Like, the guy is fundamentally like, he gets nervous around people. Like, he's a quiet dude. And like, as he kind of grows into himself over the course of the film, Kaluuya's like performance really starts to kind of build on itself and get to something bigger. Like, he's great. Yeah, I've seen multiple people say that. I saw Logan Paul on Twitter who posted this whole thread about this that got a little attention. If you haven't seen the movie, don't go look at the thread. Watch the movie first because he's got spoilers in there. But he mentioned that like you wasted Daniel Kaluuya. How could you? On the most mundane vanilla character he's ever seen. Like, come on, what a poor read. Disappointed by that. And I'm disappointed by people who've written off, I think, a lot of this movie because they feel like it's slow or nothing happens or it's confusing or there's these like leaps in logic that don't make a lot of sense. And it's like, guys, like it's a summer horror movie that's really charming. Like if you just kind of look at it for longer than a minute, I think it really comes through. But then again, we do a movie podcast and we do this every week and we talk about movies a lot. So maybe we're just reading it in a different way. But what I know is this: it is not every day, it is not every week. It's rare, in fact, that we watch a movie that one of us likes so much we go see the next day.
Yes.
And that's Nope. And something's happening here in this movie, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was really into it. I was thinking about it, and I also had a lot of time. But and things aren't in IMAX for very long. That was the main reason I wanted to get. Like I missed seeing Dune in IMAX because I waited a couple of weeks. And then it was on to something else, Eternals, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I was like, there's probably a lot that I missed. And sure enough, like there's a lot of really important things that happen in the first act that you're not going to realize are important on your first viewing. So it's a movie that gets even better with subsequent viewings. And like I said, some of the action scenes are filmed in IMAX, so you're going to get that big IMAX screen and sound if you see it in that format.
Yes. We have talked way too long about this movie. We got to move on. We still got to talk about Comic-Con. We got to talk about The Gray Man on Netflix. Any other thoughts or recommendations? Because I'd love to keep going. Like, we've talked about this offline before this episode. Yeah, like it's a whole thing. Andy, would you recommend Nope?
Absolutely. Probably my favorite movie of the summer. One of my favorite movies of the year so far. Probably just second behind Everything Everywhere All at Once. Just it's original, it's fun, it's interesting, it's deep, it's got good adventure, good scares, it's a bit of a western, sci-fi, aliens, it's all the things we go to the movies for. And I can't believe that he's done it again, because eventually Jordan Peele is gonna have a miss. Some people think it's this film. I don't think that. I think this might be the best film he's made, possibly. So highly recommend. See it on the biggest screen you can if you have the means. Get out to an IMAX and experience. But definitely see it in the theater. Don't wait for streaming.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement. Like, this movie's so much fun. Top 10 of the year material, top 5 of the year material. Probably top 3. Like, I don't know where the rest of the year's headed. We got a lot of movies coming out, but like, man, I liked this movie when I was watching it, and I've only liked it more since. Every time I think about it, I think it's rad. Talking to Andy about it, it comes around. Like, I love seeing people's hot takes online about it. Nope is really good stuff. I for the people who think, yeah, like Jordan Peele's gotta miss somewhere. Like, I liked Us a lot, but like that movie I thought had some problems, and I was like, well, we'll see what he does with his next feature. Like, he's only going up, and I'm excited to go back and revisit Us, like, and look at that in a different way now, because I'm sure I'll think more of it. Like, this, God, dude, Jordan Peele's great. Nope's great. Go watch Nope. Like, love it to death. Content warning: it is rated R. It's worth knowing. You be an adult. All right, don't take babies to Nope. And also, don't get on your phone. God.
Oh yeah.
Opening night, like, oh my God, people getting on their phones. Only in the first act, because they all got tuned in.
I'm just gonna start going to 11 p.m. screenings. So,
dude, yeah, we're gonna start going to like Saturday morning screenings. Ridiculous. People on their phones. Come on. Anyway, that's Nope. That's what we got. It's great. You should absolutely go check it out. With that, we should move into. Andy, you want to introduce this one?
It's time for the death of cinema. So we're going to be talking about San Diego Comic-Con. SDCC is back after nearly, I think, a 2-year hiatus because of COVID. They did not have this convention for the past 2 years, and it's back, and we're back in Hall H with huge announcements for big properties, primarily Marvel and DC. There are other things announced as well, primarily for TV, unrelated to what we do. So we're here to talk about all the big Marvel and DC news, and it's quite a bunch. It's a ton.
Well, I tell you, like, when I think back when we started doing the show, it's been a few years. So we take an off week every once in a while, even though we're on episode 186, we're past 3 years for sure. I don't think we talked about Comic-Con like the first year we were doing the show, like, because there wasn't, it was interesting, sure, but like it wasn't like a big deal. Now we need to like carve out a segment, and Comic-Con's the same way. Like a decade ago, no, who cared what was going on in the film world at Comic-Con? Now, like, this is this is announcement central, baby. This is Disney debuting like where they're taking Marvel for the next 3 years.
It's
This
basically
is DC.
Marvel Con.
Yeah, it's DC like wheeling out their best and brightest and putting The Rock on an elevated platform in his Black Adam suit with lightning and sound effects behind it. Like, it's goofy, baby, and like we got to talk about it. This stuff is, I mean, billions of dollars are moving through these industries at this point. Like, you can't not talk about it. So Comic-Con has really elevated itself, especially this year, coming back strong in person, as a place for movie loving comic book fans to go and enjoy and premiere all of this content. Where do we get started in here? I mean, Marvel, DC.
I'll start with DC because there's just actually a couple of announcements. And this isn't even an announcement. Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which is the sequel to the first Shazam film, they showed the first trailer, which shows Zachary Levi back in the Shazam outfit. He's got his super family with him, and they are fighting against Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, who are some sort of female goddesses who are angry. And it didn't really give a whole lot of plot. We just know that they are the antagonists. They look really, I don't know why, but they just look really bad. Like, it's really bad makeup. Like, they look fine. Like, Helen Mirren looks fine when she's like in Fast and Furious, but the makeup they did on her is horrendous. She looks like she's been left out in the sun for way too long. And it's really bad makeup for some reason. But that trailer is out if you're interested and want to see that. The other big trailer release, or at least they released some new footage of Black Adam, which of course is The Rock's superhero DC film, which comes out October 21st. Those aren't really announcements as much as just new things that they're gonna be doing. Zach, any thought on the DC stuff?
So in Shazam, I think it's the makeup all around. I think everybody in that movie looks 10 years older than they did in the last movie. Like, the trailer opens with like a hard close-up on Zachary Levi's face in therapy, and even him, I'm like, good God.
Well, especially the younger kids, like young Billy Batson looks like he's in college now.
The Billy Batson guy looks 30. Like, I look like I would fight him in a parking lot somewhere. Like, he is, he's not 30. And like, there's barely footage of him in the trailer. Just the stuff they used, I think, isn't glowing. And then, Helen Mirren looks okay. I am excited for that movie, but it looks more like an ensemble feature now. It's Shazam trying to figure out how to work with the Wonder Kids and everybody around him, and like how to share the mantle of being a superhero, I guess. And it's, I accidentally found out it's written by one of the guys who wrote a bunch of Fast and Furious. So I'm already like projecting family onto Shazam too. I don't know. It's just, a hot take from Twitter, but it looks all right. Black Adam looks a whole lot like the Rock superhero movie. That's got to build into something. It needs, I don't know. It needs a heat. It needs some heat. It needs like an additional feature. Cause right now it just looks like the Rock wearing, a super suit, and like he doesn't have any like feature about him that particularly stands out. I don't know. We talked about this before. Like Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark had like kind of the goofy goatee and the snarky attitude. Chris Hemsworth's got the blonde hair and the giant muscles. The Black Adam just looks like The Rock. He's just The Rock. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then Pierce Brosnan just kind of looks like Pierce Brosnan. And then I know like any scene with Dr. Whatever's
Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. Any scene with his helmet on is not going to be him because Pierce Brosnan's 90. So like it just looks like a CGI fest. Like, I think I texted you about this earlier today. I think DC needs to lean into like the Nolan Dark Knight filmmaking. They need to lean into Joker. They need to lean into the Batman. Like, go with the elevated superhero
Yeah.
movie. Like
Kite,
Marvel
Kite
is
Man.
becoming, yes, Marvel is becoming like camp. Marvel is becoming like goofy at this point, and people are now getting into like, well, it's made for kids. That's always the go-to for Marvel now. Great. DC should not. Don't be made for kids. Like be the Nope of comic book or superhero movies. Be the cool new hot thing on the street. Like because the people buying tickets are 20 to 35. Like
Yeah.
that's why not make movies aimed at them? It worked in Joker, worked in Batman, worked in Nolan's Batman's. Like keep going. Who needs Aquaman 2? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What's Shazam might be okay. Anyway, that was way more than it needed to be. Sorry. I just what do you think of Marvel?
So Marvel came to win. They came to play. Some huge, massive announcements. I'll start big, and then we'll get smaller. So
Yeah.
we've learned that we learned what is coming out in Phase 4, Phase 5, and even Phase 6.
Oh my God.
In what is these 3 phases are now known as the multiverse saga. We've had a lot of multiverse themed films so far. Somehow everywhere all at once is not not part of that. But huge announcements for all these. So we learned the rest of Phase 4, and then what's also coming in 5 and 6. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will be the beginning of Phase 5. As well as some other announcements. Captain America: New World Order, which will be the first Sam Wilson Captain America. She-Hulk: Attorney at Law. That's Disney Plus. I'm not gonna worry about that. That actually comes out pretty soon. Thunderbolts, which is also part of Phase 5. Thunderbolts is like Suicide Squad. It's the bad guys team up. That's people like U.S. Agent and I'm not sure who else yet, but it's kind of the bad guys are the main characters there. Daredevil: Born Again. This is an interesting one. This is for Disney Plus. It's resurrecting the Daredevil character that stood Charlie Cox played on the Netflix series. They're going to use him again and do a Disney Plus series. Agatha: Coven of Chaos, spinoff from WandaVision. Loki season 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So that's going to be the final, I guess, of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a big announcement. I'm not going to bother with dates right now. Big part of what is going to be Phase 6 is starts with Fantastic Four. This is a pretty big announcement. Fantastic Four has been done twice, very poorly. And it's apparently one of the best comics that there is, but it has not translated to the films very well. That's going to be the start of Phase 6. And a whole lot of things not there's like 8 projects that were not mentioned what they are in Phase 6, but it ends with two big ones, Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars, which are 6 months apart from each other, very close together, which is kind of insane. That's all we know of Phase 6, but just a ton of stuff coming out, and we know that Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is going to be the end of Phase 4. So Zach, what do you think of all these announcements? Tons of properties, tons of films,
Tons of properties.
tons of TV.
While you were talking, I tried to pull up the Phase 5 and 6 slates. You've seen them, like the universe with all the logos on them on a timeline. They're like, here's when stuff's coming out. All of it's subject to change because that's how movies work. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see that. You can go back and find us on Facebook and YouTube. That's where we post the show. Follow while you're there, subscribe, whatever. I forgot how funny. I don't know if I saw the Phase 5 slate next to the Phase 6 slate. Here's Phase 5. Nice full picture. There's like 10 logos on each side of it. Like there's 20 things coming out, and a lot of them are looking, based in things that we know. Ant-Man's a property we already know. Guardians we already know. Loki we already know. Agatha we already know. Captain America we already know. Secret Invasion, Marvels, Daredevil. Like most of these are things we're already familiar with. Not many of these are like particularly original. Like there's something that's building off a property we've already seen appear, and that's good. They need that like build. But then the Phase 6 slate, it's like 3 things, and it's like way
And a bunch
smaller.
of TBA.
Yeah, right. It's got Fantastic Four in November 2024, and then nothing, just a big old bland nothing on one side's nothing, and then 2 more logos: Avengers: The Kang Dynasty in 2025, May 2025, and 6 months later, Avengers: Secret Wars in November 2025, like 6 months, whatever. Like that's not, I mean, I guess I'm glad they announced it, but like, skip me to Phase 6. I don't care about any of this phase 5 stuff. I should care, but like, look, Marvel fatigue's a real problem, and I'm not the only person feeling this. Like, this is a thing a lot of people are running into. Phase 6 looks so much more exciting, and it looks so much more work put into each one of these. Phase 5's like, I
Yeah,
gotta eat
phase
my
4 and
veggies.
5 are
And that,
like just phase filler, is what it
right,
is.
like Marvel just brought us a beautiful T-bone steak, and they were like, haha, eat your veggies first. Here comes the airplane. Like, you're gonna have to sift through a year and a half of merchandising crap before you get to the stuff you actually want to see. You know, I like there's stuff in phase 5 I sure, I'll go see Guardians 3. I'll probably watch Loki season 2. I'm watching Blade. That looks cool. But like, I
There
don't
are
know.
there are get
I don't
this
care a whole lot,
there are
like,
6 Marvel films coming out in 2023. 6 films
yeah.
and like 4 TV shows, like
Yeah.
2023's. And I'm only excited for like a third of them.
Right. Like, the stuff I'm excited for is on the ends of the stuff. I'm very much excited about Wakanda Forever. We'll probably talk about that trailer in a trailer park coming up, but it looks real good, man. Like, it's great. I really want to know what's going on with Captain America New World Order. Like, I want to know what they're doing with Sam Wilson. As far as I know, he's it, baby. So let's see it. Like, I want to see Captain America, like, bust it out. Thunderbolts is coming down the line. I don't know what that is, but I hear it's heat. You said it was something like Suicide Squad. Like, okay, sure, but it's just a lot of it. It's just a lot. You really gotta.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think what like none of this used to get me really excited when we would see these timelines before for phase 2 and 3, and now it's just kind of like yawn. And I
Well,
can't, and I was trying to think of like why that is, and I think it's because the exciting stuff seems so far away, and what Marvel is doing now, specifically phase 4, has been kind of filler. It's just been okay. It's not bad.
yeah,
It's not great. It's just fine.
phase 4 has not been strong. It feels bloated. It's over 100 hours of content now, if you consider what's on Disney Plus and in theaters. Like, and phase 5 is looking very much the same. I think part of the reason like, looking at this does not feel as pleasant as it used to is, one, and this is a small thing, half these things are on Disney Plus. Like, so it's not strictly theatrical anymore. Whereas, like, the first couple of these, like, it was all theater, baby. Like, and every one of these is going to be a blockbuster production. Now it's like, okay, some of these are going to be smaller, more intimate. Yeah, like, okay, great, sure. But two, like, those early phases, like, just had stronger IPs behind them. Like, Marvel really front loaded a lot of this because there wasn't any kind of big phase strategy. So they were like, Iron Man, Captain America, the Avengers, like, we're just hitting you with all the goods, baby. And I'm glad they did that. I am. But like, inversely, that does produce a feeling that, like, now you're not giving us all the goods, you're giving us the okays, like, we're getting the B string here, and it makes you crave something like, an Avenger again, and it puts really big expectations on something like the newest Thor movie, which was okay. It makes people think Ant-Man's going to be a really big deal, and it makes people think the new Loki, it better be good, and like, that puts tall expectations on what otherwise should be, easily received. People could say it's because it's kid stuff. I think that's a baloney
It's a
answer.
cop
It's
out.
boring. Yeah, it's boring. It's a boring answer. Boring
Kids
answer.
aren't the one buying tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Adults
Like,
have
grow
to
up.
buy tickets.
Yeah, they gotta sell these to adults too. I promise. Like, they got people punching people out in these movies, and all made for kids. Anyway, I don't know.
It
Sorry, I'm
also
talking around
just
circles.
lacks the overall structure and direction that the first 3 phases had, which that was 11 years of films, and it seemed like it was all going somewhere. Like, Thanos was introduced at some point, I guess, in phase 2. And I remember not really caring about, because they announced Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and I remember not really caring about it because I was excited what was around the corner, which was things like Captain America Civil, or before that, Winter Soldier, or just what they were doing in the moment was really exciting. Now what they're doing in the moment, like, I feel like we're just waiting. I was like, could we just skip to phase 6 and see the Fantastic Four?
Yeah. And really, like, this also, phase 5 also highlights, like, I think a lot of the creative strategy behind how they plan phase 4. Like, where's Eternals 2?
Oh
Where's
yeah.
Shang-Chi 2? Where's the follow-up to Black Widow
Oh, you know
starring
what?
Florence
Nowhere.
Pugh? Yeah,
Nowhere.
nowhere. Like, nowhere. It's not on here. And like, maybe they'll incorporate those characters, but like, as far as I know, they're on ice through 2024. Why did I watch these shows? Where's Moon Knight? Like, why isn't he on here? You know, like that show was really successful. Are we not making any more of that? Why did I go out of my way to watch this stuff? Like, it just feels like they planned this stuff and they made it, and now they're either cherry picking the success out of it or just putting it on ice and doing other stuff. And
Other
boring.
standout, it's the lack of certain announcements are almost as big as the announcements. No X-Men. Disney has owned
No,
20th Century
yeah,
for 3 years now, and no X-Men. And I mean, that could all change. They could do an announcement tomorrow that that's also really disappointing, because X-Men are such a huge part of comics, and if there's any, again, the good stuff is like they're sitting on, and there's a rumor that maybe there are contracts that they have to pay out, or through 2025 because of the previous ownership, but still they're giving us a bunch of like C and D tier superheroes, and I was just like, again, Fantastic Four, awesome. Where are the X-Men? Where's the new Wolverine? Where's the new Magneto?
You're absolutely right. Like, why is nothing happening with that? Like, you release just through to, I guess, just not till 2026. Can we expect something there? Really? 2026? It's 2022. Like, if these movies are made for kids, the kids you're making them for are gonna be all grown up by the time anything, really rad happens. I mean, Phase 6 is super telling. Like, they didn't even need to announce anything, but they came out with like a really like subpar Phase 6 with an empty slate, and they put what on it? Like, known properties that people are immediately going to see and recognize. Fantastic Four and Avengers with the same freaking Avengers logo from the movies. Like, it's very obvious that they want people to stick around for the ride. And it just feels like in the meantime, they're going to shovel us like the B tier. We're not getting the varsity. That doesn't happen for another few years.
Yeah.
Right now we're just getting,
we're
getting high school ball. Like,
this used to be more relevant in TV. If you have like a 10 episode season, you might do, episode 1 and 2 are okay. Episode 3 is a fill, and then something really cool happens in episode 4. That's what this is what these phases feel like. It's like, well, Phase 6 looks really awesome. Phase 5 looks okay. Phase 4 is really dull, and it's just like, well, this is a holdover until we get the good stuff made.
Yeah, like, and we're just, I don't want to be a hater, like, because I've heard people say that. Well, it's a comic book movie, who cares, whatever. Sure, fine. Like, I don't want to get on here and be like Marvel is fumbling the bag, but like, when did you have you watched every Marvel show that's come out? Have you gone to see every Marvel movie that's come out? Because we've seen all the movies and we've watched a chunk of the shows, but like, even we're not keeping up, and we do a freaking podcast about this stuff. Like, it's just too much. And I don't know. I liked it so much more when the stakes were higher and like there was a bit more creative investment in individual properties. This like scattergun approach like just produces a lot of mid-tier when you should have a lot of quality. And promising quality later with the assurance that in the meantime you're going to have to eat your vegetables sucks. I don't want to eat my vegetables. I want to go sit in a dark room and eat junk food with strangers. That's what going to the movies is all about. And like, that should happen when I'm watching fun stuff. And the stuff looks okay. It looks okay, We'll see. Like, we'll see. That's how I feel about Marvel, right? It's fine.
Phase 5 and 6 really okay.
Also, by the way, you mentioned X-Men not getting any love here except for X-Men 97, which by the way, I do not think look good. Like fading key art onto a still one at a time does not look good. Where's the animated trailer with voice acting and the sick theme music? Where was that? Where's the entire cast coming out and talking about what's happening? Why didn't I get that? Anyway, on top of Disney and Marvel not announcing anything with X-Men, anything with real pulp, I'm surprised DC didn't wheel out Michael Keaton for Batman. He's going to be Batman in like a year, like when because
Ezra
Flash
Miller
comes out.
They don't want you to think about the Flash right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, yeah, where was Michael Keaton Batman? Like, getting people stoked to see the new feature, and I think it's because of Ezra Miller. Like, the Flash movie has so much heat on it. They can't do anything, so they're just sitting on it. And yeah, all they announced was like 2 things that are coming out soon that are like safe properties that have nothing to do with Justice League. And I think that's a bummer. I really do. I don't know the answer for them, but man, I would love to see Michael Keaton Batman roll out. You know, that would have dominated headlines. Think of like, yeah, like think of your news feed, what
It's
you would
so
have
funny
seen on
'cause
Reddit. Like, God, all people would be talking about. They'd be running the show right now.
and if Ezra Miller wasn't a liability, they would have rolled him out as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, they'd be so stoked to talk about the new Flash movie. They'd have a trailer. It'd probably come on. It'd be great. And like nothing, silence. Bummer for Warner Brothers. I really wish they could have run in the direction of like, you know, I don't know, roll out some key art for Joker 2. Like Disney did it for X-Men 97. I don't know, like take a picture of the script and post it somewhere. Like just something more than just like, don't look at the future. everybody look away from Ezra Miller, please, because we don't know what we're gonna do because we already shot this movie and it is what it is. I don't know. I'm getting too jaded for these things. I think maybe that's what's wrong with me.
It happens.
And speaking of jaded, we got one more movie to talk about. speaking of God. Okay, I'm gonna take the summary on this one, and I suppose I should just jump into it. The movie is Netflix's The Gray Man. So The Gray Man is a new $200 million Netflix feature from Joe and Anthony Russo, the directors of Marvel's Avengers films, the two good ones, Infinity War and Endgame. This is high water operations, all right? Like these are big directors that work with big budgets, and they've got a tremendous cast rounding out The Gray Man. Ryan Gosling, all right, as our lead. Chris Evans as our smarmy mustache twirling villain, just chewing scenery. Anna de Armas doing spy stuff and getting thrown over tables and thrown into boxes and thrown on the floor and thrown into walls and thrown through windows. Like Billy Bob Thornton is in this feature. That one cool chick from The Matrix Revolution, Jessica Henwick is in this. The breakout star from Bridgerton, Jean-Rene Page, is in this. It seems like it's a lock, and the plot when we right from IMDb, when the CIA's most skilled operative, Ryan Gosling, whose true identity is known to none, accidentally uncovers dark agency secrets, a psychopathic former colleague puts a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins. $200 million, action, espionage, adventure, explosions, love, hate, everything cool. I did not like this movie. I didn't like it. It is so much less than the sum of its parts. The Gray Man feels like a made by algorithm safety feature that Netflix greenlit on the back of like big names, knowing enough people would watch it that it would justify its budget. And based on recent announcements of a sequel that's already being greenlit, it seems like they got what they wanted. I did not like this movie. It is so much less than Nope. I like Nope so much more. Andy, what did you think of The Gray Man?
Yes, I thought this was also very poor. Again, it's a super cliche spy plot. It's like, oh no, is he going to go rogue? He's gone rogue. He's discovered dark. Like the agency is turning on him. It's like every James Bond and Mission Impossible plot, but way less interesting. Again, super generic. We have really boring characters. Ryan Gosling does he's returned back to his driver, cool silent
protagonist.
Yeah, never talk. And literally he like gets stabbed several times and he's just like, ow, oh, that's uncomfortable. He's like he literally gets stabbed like 8 or 9 times, just walks it off. Chris Evans he's fun. He's a little I only know he's the bad guy because he has this funny mustache. He's not really convincing enough to me, and I think that's more of a script problem. He's just not given enough to be convincing as a bad guy. Everyone else is phoning it in. Billy Bob Thornton feels like he's reading lines for an audition at home. Like it's just just completely phoning it in. But it's just like it's every spy cliche you've ever seen before. It's like, oh, it's the Suicide Squad plot. Oh, we're getting you out of prison, but you belong to us because you have this great set of skills, and you need to go be an assassin forever. And it looks like we've turned on you, and you found something secret. Now we got to come after you, and you have no protection. You're a man on the run. Anna de Armas, again, she gets thrown around a lot in this movie. I was
she does
kind of surprised. just super cliche. There's a lot of action, way too much. It gets so boring. Like that's the thing. Act 2
It's
starts
over
about
2 hours.
40
Yeah.
minutes in, and it's so boring. And you don't care. There's a subplot involving a child. I immediately start rolling my eyes anytime that happens. No, you got to save. She gets used as collateral or as a bargaining chip. There's huge action sequences. They don't really look good. Some of the fight scenes look pretty good, but a lot of the big action sequences have you're destroying cars, but there's also a whole lot of CGI. So like, there's a thing involving a train, like an electric train trolley thing. It's mostly CGI. There's a big airplane fight scene in the air. The airplane, it's completely CGI as well. So for $200 million, I was like, what are you spending the money on? Because it's certainly not the effects or all of them. It's going on location, which is the other thing. They change locations every 5 minutes. Budapest, Rome,
Florida,
London, like constantly.
Taiwan, Bangkok. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you where the $200 million for this movie went. It went to front loading its talent and paying for all of their budgets up front, all their salaries, because typically in a theatrical feature, your talent will get a sum of money at the start and then a promise of box office returns or DVD sales or something, right? Like extended growth over time. Like that ensures that like the actor has, you know, a proper return for what they're doing and will be paid royalties like over time, right? The same goes for directors. The same goes for crew. Netflix doesn't do this. Netflix says, no, no, no. We're going to just buy it up front because we're not going to sell this digitally. It's just going to be part of our subscription platform. So we're just going to pay you all out up front, one lump sum, and we're on our way. It's part of the reason they're able to get big talent because talent sees it as like, you can go shoot this thing in 2 months and boom, baby, you got a few $1,000,000. Like nothing. You don't have to wait for returns. You don't have to hope the movie's going to do good. Actors don't care at all how it does. So they come in and they have fun and they cut it up, and that's great. Joe and Anthony Russo, I think, are in a similar boat. Like you're not getting any, long returns off this. So you front load your budget with big talent and you run on the back of that. Additionally, you do a bunch of CGI that is acceptable. And you're right, you do a lot of on location shooting that I didn't really understand. I didn't know if like maybe it was like Adam Sandler's deal with Netflix. He can just go bankroll his vacations and film while he's there. That's certainly what it felt like. Like this is a globe trotting feature. And that's done under the guise of this being a global espionage feature, right? A la Mission Impossible or James Bond or like The Man from Uncle, like a classic spy feature. And The Gray Man, if I read correctly, is actually an older property. This does have roots in something that, that is more old, I guess I should say. But like that is a laughable reason for this movie to get away with like a lot of really silly tropes that are just so ham-fisted and they feel so phony. Nope is built on the back of, like genre features, but it evolves what's happening there. The Gray Man just checks the box. It just like it provides an acceptable level of suspense with its tactical espionage. Its best scenes are its action, and that is a low bar. Like the
Well,
action
and
is
it's
not
all the
good.
kind of action you've seen before. Like I got about 45 minutes in before got my phone out, and
Yeah.
as I was powering through the rest of it, I would look up and it's like, oh, it's a chasing. Oh, it's a fight scene. Oh, it's a shootout. And it's all kind of stuff you've seen before, and it just really serves no purpose. There's no like story driven purpose for most of it. It goes on for way too long. The big action sequence in the middle of the film goes on forever. Is the one at the end? The fight scenes go on endlessly, as well. And I mean, even as a popcorn action flick, it just failed. It's so boring. It's so boring. It took me like 3 hours to watch a 2 hour movie because I had to like pause and do something else for a while before I could come back to it.
Yes. So let's get into the beat a little bit. I think we've elaborated on our general thoughts. We'll get more to that at the end. Why is this movie boring? Number one, the pacing. Our globe-trotting feature. Andy was accurate. Like it changes locations every like 8 minutes to 16 minutes. Like after I watched it, I wanted to tweet about how many title cards there were to say Florida, Bangkok, Thailand, Muay Thai, wherever. Like, and I went through the movie, just started scrubbing through it on Netflix and screenshotting title cards. You can go find it on Twitter. And Twitter only lets you post 4 photos. I didn't know that. I thought you could post as many as you wanted. So by the time I got to 5, Twitter was like, "Hey, you have to stop. That's too many photos." So I thought, "Oh, okay, I'll just stop with these 4." That's the first 20 minutes of the film. You have 4 title cards in the first 20 minutes. Like, that doesn't give us any time to establish setting. Where's like the 15-minute open at like the spy's house where we're getting to meet his family? Where's John Wick talking to his dog? Like, none of that is in here. It is just leaping from scene to scene, screaming from spot to spot. But then when you get there, it's terrible. The script is really bland and you don't really care about what anybody's talking about. Like, it all just feels really phony. You got Jean Rene Page from Bridgerton, who's like this tall, lean CIA director character who's so toothless, like, and is not at all frightening. I don't want to say he's poorly cast because I think that guy can do a lot, but it's
The
not a great
script, it's
showing for
always
him.
the script with Netflix. It's always so poor.
Yeah, it really is, like, because they don't, yeah, like, they're gonna get good talent and they're gonna do good effects, but like the script, God. Anna de Armas is just kind of this dry character who's chasing Ryan Gosling. Six is his code name in this movie. And she's kind of trying to keep up with him. Gosling is doing, like Andy said, the drive thing. He's being kind of the silent protagonist, but he's got a goatee now, and it doesn't really work because it doesn't have the tone of Drive. It has the tone of a low rent Mission Impossible movie. It doesn't make sense for the budget, but here we are. And Chris Evans, I actually liked. He's not great, but I think he's having fun. Chris Evans feels like Alan Rickman in like that Kevin Costner Robin Hood. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like he at least knows what he's doing. Like, he's got his money and he grew out the mustache and he's out there like Wile E. Coyote, like being like big expressive and like waving his arms around on set. Like, okay, sure. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I at least felt like Evans wasn't phoning it in. Like, I felt like there was something here. But yeah, like, it suffers from really poor pacing, poor editing, not good writing, and just performances that just don't feel inspired.
Yeah, exactly. It is just so dull from everyone, and I don't think they're doing a bad job. They're just not given much to work with. The script structure is kind of strange. For some reason, it gets really slow in Act Two. Usually, Act Two is when you have the kind of fun and games section. That's where you would have more kind of action or espionage or some interesting things. It gets so boring in the middle of Act Two. I was okay through Act One. It gets so slow and boring by the end of it. It's all like, oh, this person's got, we got to get the secret drive, and it can't fall into the wrong hands, and it's fallen into the wrong hands. We have to get it back. Like I said,
Yes.
it's every trope and
The
plot that you've seen before.
Yes, the gray man claims to start hot on action, right? Like, get to the goods fast. And then in the second act, it slows down and gives us some emotional support with a 2-year flashback, like 45 minutes into the movie. And that's where they introduce like the child actor. It's not even Ryan Gosling's kid. It's somebody else's kid, but he is like emotionally propped under this character and feels like he has to protect her. Which does not make sense for like his former convict now being blackmailed into like, it's weird. They try to position him as some kind of like hero when he is in no way functionally a hero. He's just a guy who does missions. He's like Jason Bourne, and it doesn't have any of the speed that it needs to carry you into the third act. It just feels like it drags, and it cuts back and forth between some stuff, but like it leaves the action feeling better than the other bits, but like even the action is just a CGI mess. Like,
And
it's
this
like,
goes on forever. It
yeah,
goes
it's like
on
it's like when
forever.
you watch a horror movie and a character is getting like horribly gored to death. At some point in that scene, there's a spot in your brain where it goes, "Oh, this isn't real anymore." Like, and you just kind of detach from the moment emotionally. All of this movie, like, you never really fall into under the spell of the gray man. It never really pulls you in enough. You're constantly left out in the state of disbelief, just kind of watching this movie that passes by you for 2.5 hours and just sort of ends.
Yeah, it wants to be Mission Impossible, James Bond, Jason Bourne. I think more than anything, that's probably the closest. But Jason Bourne has really good action. It also has
Yeah.
it usually has a very intriguing like backstory plot, kind of derivative as it is. But you get drawn in a little bit more. But this was just so dull and forgettable.
Yeah, Jason Bourne's not a bad comparison. Honestly, the two movies I would compare it to, one of them is a Netflix feature, Extraction, starring Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
But Chris Hemsworth is a bit more charismatic than Ryan Gosling's kind of quiet protagonist here, and it had way better action because they had stunt coordination that was like way more solid. Like at least I could say Extraction's a fun watch. Like there's some fun sequences in there sometimes. Also like Will Smith's Gemini Man last year, like same
Oh
kind of
yeah.
bland, like just kind of CIA spy flying around the country, getting a pistol, meeting a guy. But again, Gemini Man at least had a hook. Like it had Will Smith and it had
And
deepfake
Will
Will
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, at least that was kind of fun, like, I don't know, like deepfake Will Smith is one bad to look at. Like it's decent. Gray Man does not. Gray Man does not have these features. It is somehow so much less than the sum of its parts, and it's baffling because the sum of its parts is really expensive. It's a very tidy sum.
Right. That I want to segue a little bit into a comment made by the Russo brothers as they were promoting this, where they kind of scoffed at some of the great directors like Martin Scorsese, who have not talked highly of comic book films and streaming, and they to quote the theater, the idea that theater is a sacred space is BS. Like, you can make great films on streamings, but they also said, people need to get over auteur filmmaking. Like that was something from the 70s. We're beyond that. And I was like, no, we're absolutely not. And that's what we need. And auteurs are people like Jordan Peele, Denis Villeneuve, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, filmmakers making really bold new films, bringing us new things and new directions, trying to reinvent things, so we're not just regurgitating. We need that badly, but they they were trying to say that, oh, this is because they are of course the directors of Avengers, so they took that personally. Zach, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a terrible read. I do think there's some truth, like in what they're saying. The Russo brothers have worked with Marvel at their peak. I mean, their two biggest films that had to tie all of this stuff together. These guys had to deal with that, and that's a big ask. And Disney is very IP centric. Like they're going to they're going to take their toy, they're going to pick up their toys, and they're going to go home with them. Like Disney is like, this is our stuff, this is our project. It's filmed by committee. I think like you pointed that out, and I agree with it. The more I think about it, meanwhile, Netflix, they say just let them make the movie they want to make. Like they said, Netflix is real hands off. Like you go do whatever you want. It's like Adam Sandler on vacation. Like just make the movie. We don't care. Just put it out. Like because Netflix knows that like at the end of the day, the names behind this feature will be enough to carry it over. Like you can put these faces on the front page of Netflix and people will watch it. I've heard about folks' parents watching this all week. They're like, "Oh yeah, I watched that Gray Man movie. I want to get a haircut." That's my barber. What she's been watching lately. And she was like, "I watched some movie with Ryan Gosling on Netflix." She said it was boring. I fell asleep in the middle of it. Like Netflix knows
The Lane
you can
Man.
kind of get away with creative bankruptcy, and the problem is the Russo brothers coming out and saying that's a good thing, that like this is the way cinema's going now and people need to get over themselves. Wrong. Like cinema is for storytelling, and storytelling is one of the oldest things humanity's ever done. Like this is our ability to communicate with one another in creative, engaging ways. And sometimes that creativity has to come from taking risks and doing new things and limiting yourself by budget and time and constraint to develop new methods of storytelling that push us into the future, that take us forward into something more exciting than what we've known before. It's constantly changing and evolving and growing. And the idea that like we just shouldn't have auteurs because I don't know, it's not good for our line item budget. Like stop. It's an embarrassing take, dude. It's awful. And I can't believe they shared it in an interview. That never should have left the bathroom mirror they were talking into. Like it's ridiculous. They just want some like hug box like idea of cinema where everybody goes and sees things they already know and everybody gets paid up front. And like, I'm sorry, we didn't get Spielberg from that. We didn't get George Lucas from that. Scorsese did not come from safe cinema. These are people who did new things, and that's a good thing. And it sucks that these guys don't think that way. That's what I think is
Yeah, also
terrible
the
take.
things like that they did, like Avengers, those are great films, but that's Disney in full control telling you what you're going to make. That's not you making any real decisions, because again, what from those movies could you say, oh, this is a Russo brother, it's got their signature, their mark? Like it's a comic book film. You don't have any say over it. And this same thing, there is nothing about it. Maybe all the action that is like a signature of what they do.
The worst part might be that they said Disney like hangs on to everything and will not get out of your hair, and Netflix lets you do what you want. Because the Avengers is so much better than the Gray Man. And if that's because Disney was the one holding your hand and Netflix is letting you do what you want and you made this, that says so much more about your ability as directors than Avengers does. And it's like it's silly. I can't even believe they said it, dude. Like God, we don't need auteurs anymore. Theater cinema is bullshit. No, it's not. Like that's terrible. So I'm bummed by the Gray Man. Like I would have loved to have watched like a fun, exciting 2-hour Ryan Gosling doing Drive feature at home. That'd be awesome, dude. Like I'd love to see Chris Evans cutting up as a villain. I'd love to see Anna de Armas doing her exciting spy stuff. But like it doesn't really come together, and it's a disappointing 2 hours from a couple of disappointing directors. I hope they do better next time. I really do. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to be my recommendation. Andy, any other thoughts for recommendations?
I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend The Gray Man?
Hard pass. Hard, even for the low standard of streaming. Don't waste your time with it. It's long, it's slow, it's boring, it's super cliche. It's everything you've seen before. The action scenes aren't that great. They go on for too long. There's way too much CGI. Again, the story is kind of nonsensical, and also every trope you've ever seen in any kind of spy film before. Go watch better movies. Go watch a good movie. Like go watch the Bourne series. Go watch Mission Impossible. Go watch James Bond. Like rewatch those things than this. No, skip it. Hard pass. Don't waste your time.
I'd say hard pass. Don't watch it. Don't tell your parents to watch it. If anything, like if somebody asks you, "Hey, have you heard about that Gray Man movie? Is that any good?" Just be like, "No, it's really schlocky and bad." Like, cause it is. Like, it's not anything. It's not even schlocky. I think it maybe attempts to be schlocky. Like, it's a miss. It's a big miss. It's disappointing. I hope Netflix doesn't make more movies like this. If I may say so, this is the kind of movie that pulls confidence from me that Netflix is going to hit 1 million subscribers next quarter. Not so sure, man. Like if you're going to keep doing this, I don't know. And they've already just today, I think they announced they're greenlighting a sequel and they want to do a spinoff of the Gray Man. And it's like, you might as well do a sequel to like the Ridiculous Six or whatever that Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
You might as well do a sequel to Hubie Halloween, right? Why not? Like, just come on. Ugh, not a fan. And that's our show. Wow. What an episode. Andy, I could not stop talking. I'm not going to drink coffee before the show anymore. I don't know what happened to me.
Too amped
This is
up.
our longest episode. Dude, our longest episode in a really long time.
It's because we didn't have an episode last week. It's all pent up.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. And also, we won't have an episode next week either because Andy's traveling, and that's okay because there's not a whole lot of cool things coming out. I think our summer might be winding down a little, but when we come back, we got some exciting features. Andy, where are you going, and what are we watching?
Well, releasing this Friday is a smaller release, the DC League of Super Pets, which is the animated kid-friendly movie about Superman's dog, maybe dog as Superman. It's a kid's film, looks fun, but there's no real big new release. That's this Friday.
It's the pets of the Justice League. So it's Superman's dog, Batman's dog, Wonder Woman's pig, whatever. No, I take it back. A couple of them are random pets. Anyway, that's the deal. Yeah.
July, and that's this Friday, July 29th. When we come back for the show, we will be watching Bullet Train, which is in theaters August 5th. That's the Brad Pitt starring ensemble cast action movie taking place on a bullet train. That looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then also the A24 release horror movie Bodies, which I'm not going to say starring cameos, Pete Davidson amongst a large cast about young teens, girls, college students spending a weekend by themselves in a house and a killer on the loose. Maybe it's one of them, maybe it's not. That looks like a lot of fun. Those are our two releases we'll be looking into, and that's next the following week, theaters August 5th.
I'm feeling optimistic about both those movies for totally different reasons. Bullet Train looks like, here's the thing, it looks all right, but I think it might be a sleeper. Like I remember people said Bad Times with El Royale looked all right, and I was like, that movie's super good. Like I thought that movie was great. Honorable mention that year. That movie was a ton of fun. who knows? Bullet Train might be heat, man. Like you got Brad Pitt, you got the director of Deadpool. Like, sure, who knows? Might be cool. And then Bodies, inversely looks like a nice, charming, small budget, low rent, high concept, character driven A24 movie. I feel like I can go watch that quietly, and then I can come home and simmer on it for a little while. I'm hoping it'll be something like Assassination Nation, like oh god, Spring Break. Yeah, that movie is James Franco. Like, we'll see. Who knows? Might be heat. If you enjoyed the show today, I'm so sorry it was longer than it needs to be. Oh my god, I couldn't stop talking about Nope. I couldn't help myself, and I was inversely angry about Gray Man. If you enjoyed the show today, you can follow us on Facebook, where we live stream the show every Tuesday. You can follow us on YouTube, where we post our live stream. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us on your usual podcast outlets: iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartMedia, all the usual places. TuneIn, Deezer, Jazz FM. I don't know. The usuals. And you can keep up with us at offscriptfilmreview.com and mail at offscriptfilmreview.com. You can write us correspondence on social media. We hang out. We love talking about movies. And if you love listening to us talking about movies, the biggest thing you can do is just subscribe. Just subscribe to get new episodes of Off Script delivered straight to your phone every single Tuesday, except for next week because we got stuff going on. But when we come back, it's going to be some good movies, and we're excited to talk about it. I think that about wraps the show. From all of us at Off Script, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.